Hi guys, this is Cassidy with a very, very short and very, very informal update about a few things. Some things have been left on the back burner while I've been working on my Murdaugh Mafia series, and I really needed to get to this. I'm also working on an update to the Renee Beach conspiracy case, as new briefs and transcripts have helped me to see that there are some important details that I got wrong before, and I want to set those straight. I'm leaving tomorrow for the week, so I will be replacing those podcasts when I get back, and getting back to my Murdaugh Mafia series. But before I leave, I wanted a chance to spend some time with you all here and let you know that there won't be a Murdaugh Mafia episode this week, and I am sorry about that. This update is about Alex. The last time we talked about old Alex Murdaugh, we were talking about his sentencing for the federal and state financial crimes, and the fact that he lost his motion for a new trial. I am in a spicy sort of mood tonight, so this update will go accordingly. I, for one, have not missed reading Dick Harpootlian's briefs, because when I read the words of these attorneys whose voices I've heard, I hear them in their voices. I see their mannerisms, their gestures, the faces they make when they speak, and it fills my head with their essence. And I just don't like him in my head. As my crew, that's been with me from the beginning, well knows, shout out to Cassidy's crew, I am not fond of this man or his methods, and I will forever be unable to grasp how he got to be a well-known, high-paid lawyer and to hold the recently lost position as a senator. His briefs are as dramatic and repetitive as he is, and this one is no different than the ones we've read together before. Page 1 starts out with, "This issue of significant public interest is whether the verdict returned after Mr. Murdaugh's internationally televised murder trial should be overturned due to unprecedented jury tampering by a state official. Never mind that that's not what Justice Toll determined, and what all of the jurors who decided he was guilty stuck with their word, except for that wishy-washy tenant of Egg Lady who couldn't answer straight. Never mind all that legal stuff. Let's just say this anyway. That awful old Becky tampered with the jury." This time, those allegations got the first page, so the opioid addiction was demoted to page 2. But never fear. It's still a flag they're flying high, as if it somehow excuses Alex's bad behavior or does anything to improve his case. I've said it so many times. All it does, in my opinion, is add drug addict to his other charges, like every other criminal who is also on drugs. He goes on to rearrange the established time of deliberations down from 3 hours to only an hour, as if that would matter. And then he continues his narrative of everything from the murders, the trial, the appeal, and gets down to the evidentiary hearing that we watched together on January 29th of this year. If you'll recall, there were many moments Dick and Justice Toll spoke about things being preserved for the upcoming appeal that we all knew would be coming. Well, that time is now. And of course, the focus is back to Becky Hill, who ruined everything, and unsurprisingly, we're back to Egg Juror's tenant. Since we can't have Egg Juror, we get her tenant, Juror Z, and her wishy-washy answers as the basis for this appeal. We absolutely knew that was coming. Next, we're presented with Rhonda, clerk of court in neighboring Barnwell, who testified to bad behavior she supposedly observed in the then-new clerk of court, Becky Hill, who she had so helpfully offered her services to help guide her what to do, yet somehow never saw this alleged bad behavior as something reportable until she had the chance to be on TV and promote her upcoming election. If you think I'm being hard on her, you're right. If you haven't watched my podcast about the list of other clerks of court who have done exactly what Becky Hill has now been charged with as far as using money meant for investigating child support cases, you will find Miss Rhonda's name on there as well. So to me, that nullifies anything she might have to say while pointing her own guilty fingers at anyone else. Next, he drags us back in time to his insistence on the case following the outdated Remmer standard. Dick, times change. You can't make racist remarks. You can't make ableist remarks anymore. You can't make sexist remarks and still be thought well of. You also can't hold on to old, outdated standards that have long been replaced. A former Chief Justice herself has ruled on it. Let it go. He steps away from Rimmer for a moment to mention the popularity of this case, and I can't help but wonder, without all this popularity that he's complaining about, would he still be Alex's attorney? My first thought for naming this episode was going to be Dick and Jim, who is paying for you to keep losing? I'm still not sure whether I made the right choice, but it is a burning question. Where is the money coming from? Who is paying? And if no one is paying, why are such high-priced lawyers still representing this man, if not for the infamy? The one line of this whole document that I did actually appreciate is at the bottom of page 13, where he calls Miss Hill's participation the biggest wart of all in this case. I laughed myself silly on that, but I got over it quickly when he drug us back to Rimmer yet again for the whole rest of the pages of this document, concluding with sharp, stinging words that the circuit court's refusal to update this outdated standard presents a legal issue of major significance, necessitating review of this appeal by this court before it's determined by the Court of Appeals. And then he requests the court certify this case for review, and remember this document is addressed to the South Carolina Supreme Court, before it's determined by the Court of Appeals. And then he collected his typewriter and rode off in his horse and buggy. And that's that for that document. But Team Alex has been very busy. They also made a filing that it turns out that they are not so pleased after all about the federal sentencing that Alex was so very happy to finally be able to plead guilty to and apologize to all of his clients for. But he suddenly decided that the sentence is excessive. And not just excessive, but excessive to the point of being cruel and unusual. And that it infringes upon his rights because it's grossly disproportionate with other financial crimes cases. So we'll be watching the replies to both of these documents and updating them in hopefully longer updates in the future. But the timing is great, because I have a recording of the federal sentencing hearing that I'm working on, and it will probably be released long after you've gone to bed tonight, but I am going to try to get that out before I leave tomorrow morning. A dear friend of mine agreed to help me with the recording, and I'm adding my bits to it now. Federal hearings prohibit being televised or recorded in any way, so I wanted to give you a chance to listen to that hearing. And keeping with my style here that all my videos are podcast style, meant for you to be able to listen as you drive or go about your day. Till next week, this is Cassidy O'Connell saying stay well and stay tuned.